how can we keep the gospel central? I hope that by now something in you is longing for this. I hope that by now you're saying, yeah, I want to be part of a church community that's not defined by the boundaries, but by the center, and where that center is Jesus and His gospel. I want my heart increasingly to be inclining in that direction. I want to be calling people toward Jesus. I see how the gospel at the center of a community creates beauty and creates life and creates meaning. How do we get there? The answer is much simpler than you think. See, as Americans, right, we have this predisposition for the technical. When we ask a how question, what we mean is, tell me what to do. What do I do next? How do I go back to my gospel community and ask better gospel-centered questions? How do I get myself a gospel-centered study Bible? Is there a way I can be more gospel-centered in my language? Right? The technique is, what do I do to be more gospel-centered? Can I just back us up from that for a minute? And say, hey, the how is real simple. Here's how. By worshiping Jesus. That's how we keep the gospel central in a church. By worshiping Jesus. If Jesus is at the center, then the gospel will be at the center, because the gospel is a message that points us to Jesus. And so the great question for each of us is Jesus at the center of your life? Are you worshiping the Lord Jesus? Are you praying to Him, singing to Him, confessing your sin to Him, obeying Him, seeking to know Him through His Word? The greatest danger for us, you realize, as a church, the greatest danger for us is that we adopt the language of gospel centrality without the reality. That we become the church that's really good at doing gospel-centered stuff apart from the worship of the Lord Jesus Christ. If you don't think we're capable of that, think again. So the real question for us this morning is, are we worshipers of the Lord Jesus? The way we keep the gospel at the center is to consistently worship Jesus. And listen, we've already heard through our worship service at the beginning, right? All of us are worshipers. We're all pouring ourselves out to something. We're all giving ourselves to something. We're all making something ultimate, giving something priority in our lives. And so the question is always, is that Jesus? Or is it me? Or is it my career? Or is it my success? Or is it a person? Or is it a relationship? Or is it something I wish I had in life? The only way the gospel can be central in our church and in our lives is if we're really worshiping Jesus. And so look, the invitation of the Scriptures is always the same. The invitation is always this: what else are you prone to worship? What else are you prone to give yourself to? Will you again, for the 100th time, the 1,000th time, the 1,000,000th time, turn from that? See how much better Jesus is? Will you recognize your need and turn to Jesus for grace? Will you reorient your heart once again to the beauty and the perfection of the Lord Jesus Christ and all He's done to save you?